Hey, I'm Robbie, the Renaissance Man, and I'm here to bring you weekly, hopefully, episodes of me talking about different parts of culture, whether it's video games, movies, comics, books, or even sports. We live in a society, in this world, that tells us that we can't love everything. We have to love one thing, whether somebody can't love sports and love video games, or someone can't love sports and comic books. In high school, you had the nerdy kid or you had the jock. And I'm here to tell you that I'm a Renaissance man. I love every aspect of it. Everything from books to movies to video games to comic books to even sports. And so I want to bring you these episodes talking about different aspects of our culture. And today we're going to start with the biggest thing talked about this week, Avengers. I want to talk to you about the movie that just came out last week that was directed by Joss Whedon. And so it's been built up, for those that don't know, it's been built up since 2008. It's been 5 movies that have cumulated to make this movie. And I've been anticipating it forever. Since I was a little kid, since I read my first Avengers comic, I've always wanted to see them live. And now I've got to. And I have to give this rating an A. It is an A. It is a perfect movie. It brings every aspect of the comic book into real life. So you can love it just as much as I did. There were 5 elements that I, going into it, had to have. Okay? I had to have the Hulk smashing. And the Hulk smashed a crap ton. It was awesome. There has to be chemistry between the Avengers. Each time in each scene, every time the Avengers were together, whether it was Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Captain America, Black Widow, Hawkeye, or even Nick Fury, you believed that they were those characters, and you believed that they were a team. Okay, regardless if there was tension or not. Which brings me to my next point, that I wanted to believe there was tension between them, and boy did they show it. There were 2 big scenes, 2 big fights between Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America in the woods that just made you believe that they wanted to beat the crap out of each other, because you know what? They didn't like each other. And then another scene when they're on the helicarrier where Hulk and Thor fight. And that's so Thor can stop the Hulk from beating the crap out of everybody. There were times that you believed that they did not like each other, especially with Cap and Iron Man. Cap and Iron Man had numerous times of dialogue where they would insult the other one because they didn't respect the other one. And that's something that in the comic books you always feel. You always feel that, yeah, Iron Man respects Captain America, but he doesn't like him. And so another thing that I desired, the 4th thing, was I wanted face time for each Avenger. I didn't want it to be just put on Robert Downey Jr. being the perfect Iron Man that we know him to be, or the Hulk smashing things, which we all know is going to happen. I wanted to see each Avenger, and I wanted to see character development with each Avenger. And Joss Whedon does a perfect job of it. It's ideal, honestly. Each character grew in some form of way from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie. And I really appreciated that. Which brings me to another point of as far as character development, Mark Ruffalo is the perfect Bruce Banner. Mark Ruffalo should be casted forever as Bruce Banner. The scene that got me was whenever they're on the helicarrier and Black Widow and Captain America are walking out of the ship that they were just on, and they're talking, and then all of a sudden Black Widow says, there's Bruce Banner, and they show him, and Bruce Banner is right next to an aircraft, and there's some men who are walking by, and Mark Ruffalo just kind of shies his way out of the way, because that's how he was. He was socially awkward, and that is the first time in a movie that I've seen Bruce Banner be portrayed that way, and I really enjoyed it. And the 5th and final thing that I wanted to believe that Captain America was the leader of the Avengers, and it was perfect. The fight between Thor and Iron Man, Captain America is the one that gets him in line, even though he does take a brutal hit from Thor's hammer. He still is the one that brings them together. When Bruce Banner and Tony Stark believe that there's something more going on with Nick Fury, he's the one that goes and puts his hands on. He goes and gets dirty to try to find out what's going on instead of waiting for some data to download. And another thing is, Captain America was the one that wanted Bruce Banner on that ship. He believed that Bruce Banner was an asset as opposed to just being a brutal monster that was going to cause chaos. He believed in his team. He believed in what was being done, because that's what Captain America does. He leads them. And so like I said, I give this movie an A. I really enjoyed it. The comedy, the action, the drama, everything was brought together perfectly. And no, it's not The Dark Knight. It's not grimy and grungy, and it's not realistic, so to speak. But it was entertaining, and it brought a comic book to life. And that's exactly what Joss Whedon was told to do. Bring a comic book to life. And that's what he did. So, with that being said, I want to move on to the other part of the show, and that's where we talk about the top 10 best comic book movies ever made. And some of you might not agree with me, but I don't care, because I'm right and you're wrong. So I'm going to give you my top 10. Number 1, Avengers. Avengers earns the best comic book movie ever made to me. Number 2 is everyone's favorite, The Dark Knight. It was great, it was awesome, but I just think the Avengers top it just a little bit. Number 3 is going to be Watchmen. Watchmen was frame for frame the graphic novel, okay? Except for the end, I know, with the aliens, it changed, but except for that, Zack Snyder does a fantastic job of recreating the Watchmen graphic novel. Then, Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark. Tony Stark is Robert Downey Jr. forever. And whenever they recast that, I might die a little bit, because that's going to be sad. But Iron Man is number 4. Number 5, V for Vendetta. What a great Frank Miller novel to be recreated. It was fantastic. It was wonderful. Natalie Portman probably does one of her best acting jobs after that travesty called the Star Wars trilogy that she was in. It was just great. Then, I'm going to go with number 6, Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 was great. Spider-Man 1 was good, don't get me wrong, but Spider-Man 2 just got every aspect of the Spider-Man, what he is in the film. His character development throughout the movie was fantastic, and Doc Ock was just casted wonderfully. Then, we're going to go with number 7, Batman Begins. Batman Begins. We got to see a good Batman movie. And I'm not talking about the 1980s version of Batman, Tim Burton. Yes, that's good. Michael Keaton is I'm Batman. Great. Christian Bale was Bruce Wayne. Christian Bale was Batman. And it was enjoyable because Christopher Nolan brought us an aspect, a type of Batman that we'd never seen before. And we loved it. Then I'm going to go with 300. Another Frank Miller novel that was just turned into it was grimy and grungy. Zack Snyder again brings a graphic novel to life. And it was entertaining, it was fun, and we got to see people get their heads cut off, and it was awesome. Then, I'm going to finish it off with the last 2 of X-Men First Class. X-Men First Class is the best X-Men movie ever made. It is better than 1, 2, and that travesty 3. It is. We forgot, and if you go back and watch it if you don't realize this, but watch it, and you forget that Professor Xavier is a cripple in a wheelchair. Whenever he gets shot in the back, you realize, oh my God, that's right, he's in a wheelchair. You remember it because you got caught off guard. Matthew Vaughn does a great job of bringing that element to you of realism that you forget about their origin and you learn something new. You forget that Magneto had his mother taken away from him and he is pissed off at the world. It was fantastic. The casting was great, and I cannot wait for the next one. And then lastly, Sin City. Another Frank Miller novel brought to life. It was edgy, it was cool, it looked just like the comic book. It was filmed to look just like the comic book in black and white, and then having the color every now and then to represent the blood. It was something we had never seen. It was innovative, it was creative, and it was exactly what everyone wanted, or everyone needed. That being said, now if we can just get a sequel. So, guys, this is what I want to do each week. I want to talk about these kind of things. I want to give you lists, my top lists of things. I want to bring elements of different parts of culture together. And so, in the comments, leave your top 10 movies. Tell me your review of Avengers. Tell me your review of me. It's okay. If it's bad, I probably won't believe you because I'm awesome. So, guys, I hope you have a good week. Be great, and I'll see you next time.